Hey guys, thanks for tuning in for another episode on the review channel. I do appreciate you tuning in and watching the episodes. This one's going to be quite interesting. Before we get into it, please subscribe below. It does help me out quite a bit and I do appreciate that. So let's get into this. So today's episode is about a hole in the wall. If you had to repair any type of hole in your walls and the sheetrock had a big hole in it or anything like that, it can be kind of frustrating to learn how to do it. But this is very different. This had a huge intercom system that was in this home and we no longer use it. It's outdated. So I took it out of the wall and ended up with a huge 10-inch by 10-inch hole in the wall. So we're going to go about how to patch it and go through how to do it, and hopefully you'll learn something from this video. Again, do appreciate you watching. Let's get into the video right now. Okay, so let's get into it. So as you can see, I have this huge intercom that I'm going to replace and take out, and I'm going to patch the hole and just paint right over it. But I have this huge hole and I have to patch it. So the best way to patch it and the easiest way to patch it is a couple different steps. So the first step you want to do is basically make a template of the hole, the insert. So you take a ruler and you measure left, right, and up and down in 4 different places. So to do the bottom part, you do the top part, you do left and you do right side. So what you want to do is you basically want to make yourself a little diagram. So when you go down and cut your sheetrock, you want to take those measurements with you. So it's like 8.5 by 8 3/4 by 10 16 in each side. So basically I'm making a template to fit within the whole of this structure. So what I'm using here is a couple of paint sticks. I know a lot of people don't like the paint sticks. I use the big heavy duty paint sticks, the big ones with the 5-gallon buckets, and they seem to work okay. You got to be careful not to strip them because they can strip pretty easily. So you got to take it easy, go back and forth with the drill slowly. And you just want to basically countersink it just a little bit into the sheetrock as much as possible, so that way you can just mud right over it. So this is just a basic paint stick, not the thin ones, not the ones with the gallons. They won't work, they crack. But these little heavy duty ones, they do the trick quite well. So you just put a one on top and one on the bottom. So basically what you do is you make it a brace. Because if you don't do it this way, there's just no way for the sheetrock to sit inside. So this is a really good trick, a really easy way of fixing especially large holes. So just very easy. You just get a small sheetrock screw, put one on top, also anchor one on the bottom as well. And you got to be careful not to go too fast, too hard, because they can strip pretty quickly inside the wood. Because you can use a piece of 1 by 2, 1 by 1, something a little bit sturdier for a pine, something soft. That works as well. Whatever you want to use. If you got some scrap wood in the house, that works too. So I had a couple pieces. I had a scrap piece of wood here as well, a piece of birch, I believe this is. A little bit tougher to work with, but I got it to work. And so once you get these anchored in, and I can just show you. So it's you do 4, 2 on top, 2 on the bottom, and get your measurements. Go down, cut your piece of sheetrock to specs as close as you can get. Not to be exact, but close as you possibly can is better. So I came back and I cut it. And you can see there's a little turn around, so actually the measurements will fit perfectly like this. Okay, so you can see there's a little bit of gap, but that's okay. You can fill that with mud, and that's not a problem. So you get the 4 screws on the top, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom, and now you want to anchor this piece of sheetrock into to the wood behind it, and you got to be careful. Again, you got to go slow and you got to go easy. You don't want to strip it, and you want to be able to countersink the screws into the sheetrock. And that's really the basic trick right there. Once you get that anchor behind it, and once you get these 4 screws in, you're good to go. So basically, it's a lot of patience. You have to use joint compound or mud, whatever you want to call it. And that's really the hard part, honestly. It's just getting it smooth and getting it feathered. And that's the hard part. So I just get some basic joint compound, and I go around and I feather all around. And you can see in the video, we can watch this. And sometimes it gets a little tough to cover these screws. They don't get sink too deep. It's a really tricky formula. You don't want to go too deep. You don't want to break. You don't want to strip into the wall. You don't want to break the wood. So you got to just kind of go slow. And if you build up a slight feather over it, it really won't be noticed at all. You'll see after you do 2 to 3 coats. Just give it a once over the first time. Go around, cover all the joints up as best you can. Push it in. Move it around. Patience, take your time. You can't really mess up too much. You don't want to make it too thick. The thicker you put it on, the harder it is to sand it down. It makes a big mess. So you just take your time, couple of coats, and really patience is your friend when it comes to this part. you know, and just take your time. You can see I'm just pushing into the joints, moving it all around. And I'm not an expert at all. I've just patched like 7 of these so far in my house. This drives me crazy. So this is the last one. So we're finishing up this last one, and I wanted to make a video and just show you how to do it if you ever have it. And you can do this for a small hole too. It doesn't have to be a huge hole. It can be a small hole, a round hole. Doesn't really matter. The premise is the same. Depending if it's really tiny, you don't need, you know, the sheetrock behind it. I mean the brace behind it. You can use just a small piece of, some people put tissue in there, depending how small the hole is, but this is a big hole. So you really just gotta, you know, this is the best way I found to really do big holes. So this is the second day. As you can see, nice, a lot of sanding. And you want to do, the secret behind sanding is you gotta just let it, use your hand, and you kind of feather it back and forth with your hand, and you get a feel of the high spots and the low spots. You just keep doing that. Again, patience. So you go around and just keep going around sanding and sanding, and just really use your hand and just feel it. And you can tell, you know, if it's not covered right. You can see the screws are starting to cover up, things are starting to disappear. And once you prime and paint this, it'll be pretty much invisible. You'll know it's there because you did it, but other than that, it should not be noticeable whatsoever. You might need a couple of coats of paint. Primer is important, but that's the main thing. So I want to just make this quick video to show you a little bit how to patch a large hole in your home. So that's really kind of the gist of it. You know, just go around. I'll show you a little bit more of this, and we'll go a second coat as well on here. So we'll go around again, and with the putty knife, with the mud, and we go around and again feather it again all around the joints. Not too thick, not too much. Again, take your time, patience. Build a little feather it down, and really that's the name of the game when it comes to repair work. It's really just, you know, feathering it and then sanding it, feathering it down, let it dry, and then sanding it. And repeat that process, you know, 2 or 3 times as necessary, and you'll be surprised. It'll just start disappearing. You won't even see it. It'll be like it was never there. So let's watch this a few more minutes, and you can just see I'll get to the last coat and the last sanding, and you can see what it looks like. I didn't finish painting it, but you can paint it yourself, paint and prime it your color, and it'll be exactly as you want it. Believe me, it'll be perfect. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the last this is the 2 coats of skim coat. This is the second sanding, and you can see it's pretty well disappeared. It's ready, you know. That the color I'm going to paint that's to the right, you can see on the wall there. So I'm just painting this room, so I'm just getting this all prepped. So please, if you like this video, please subscribe. Please share it if you like. I do appreciate that. Appreciate some likes. It'd be great. Very helpful for me. Again, any questions or comments below. Again, I'm not a professional. I don't do this for a living. I'm just trying to show you what I do and how I get things fixed. So the secret is use your hand, move it across, and if you don't feel any highs and bumps, it won't show in the paint. It's really hard to see it when it's like this. When it's painted, that's when you can see the highs and lows. So that's why you use your hand. Go across it, you just get those highs and lows as smooth as you possibly can, and then hopefully it should be pretty decent, honestly. So I hope this video helped. I know it was a little bit longer than normal than my videos, but I wanted to really get down to just give you an idea what it looks like and how to fix these annoying holes, you know. So again, do appreciate you viewing it. Any other questions or comments, leave below. If you want me to do something special specific with houses or anything repair work or anything about lamps or electrical, anything, any questions for, leave below. As always, thanks for watching and have a great day.